All right, now I'm going to try our little video, and then we'll
We're
start it.
live.
Yep, I'm going to start our little video, and then we can talk to people. Give me a second. Let's see if this works this time.
This is Top of the World, the Disney Vacation Club podcast. A proud part of the WDW Today and Laugh-O-Gram Studios family. Join us as we talk parks, points, perks, and all things DVC, and how to get the most out of your membership. Here they are, Dave Adams and Terry Weaver.
Well, welcome home. I'm Terry Weaver.
And I'm just glad we finally got this working. I'm Dave Adams.
Yeah, we tried to do this the other night and had a little technical complications, but I think we're good.
We had like 12 technical complications. I mean, between my internet, your microphone, but we're good now. We're good.
Yeah, I'm in the process of upgrading my technology, and I'm actually, if you're watching us on the interwebs right now, and you're like, where's Terry? He's not sitting in his desk. I'm in my studio section of my office where, if you've ever seen me do a Facebook Live or a webinar or something over here. And as Dave Adams said, roll pachyderms.
Yeah.
I probably need to get a shirt that says roll pachyderms made.
That would be awesome.
Because you'd buy it.
Oh, totally. I totally would buy that. Speaking of roll pachyderms, we have to address the elephant in the room. Well, I see what I did there. This won't mean anything to you, but I need to get this off my chest. The University of Alabama sports athletics just lost today one of its most amazing men I've ever had the pleasure to meet and deal with when I was in the sports broadcasting journalism department. Cecil Hurt passed away just a few minutes ago. Cecil was the last remaining link in Tuscaloosa between Bear Bryant and now. Cecil was the sports editor of the Tuscaloosa News. And when I had a radio show in Tuscaloosa on the campus station, listened to by probably 5 people, Cecil Hurt, being one of the biggest names in Alabama journalism, took time out to come on my radio show 2 or 3 times.
There you go.
And the man was, he was bigger than life because of who he was. But it didn't matter if I was a college student or Nick Saban. He took time out of his day to help little people. So just want to say, rest in peace, Cecil Hurt.
There you go. Did you just call yourself a little person?
I was in college, yes.
When David Adams was a wee little man, was he?
Well, I still wasn't wee.
Did you climb up in a sycamore tree?
Yeah. Carrie Loney says this isn't about Disney, but have you seen Jurassic World Domination's prologue today? The YouTube came out. I haven't seen it yet.
I don't know, but I did just buy my IMAX tickets to Ghostbusters for tomorrow. So it has nothing to do with Disney, but everything to do with that culture and that the spirit of nostalgia that I think drives us all to do the things that we do. And
that thing we do. You see the title? We did it.
Which is why, you guys haven't seen us in a little while, because I did the thing, and then I did the thing, went down there. I basically left out of town a couple of days before the thing and went to a concert. We literally stayed at the airport, didn't even come home, flew out the next day, went to Vero Beach, which we're going to be talking about on today's episode. And then obviously went to Orlando, stayed at the Airbnb, had the thing, moved to the Hyatt Place, did the thing. And then we moved to Saratoga Springs for a few days for Leslie and I to kind of just decompress.
My favorite resort.
You know what, dude? I have never liked that resort as an owner, but I'm gaining a whole new respect for that resort. And when I got back, literally I text Dave and said, "Hey, let's do a show." And he's like, "I'm on my way to the airport." We didn't schedule this out very well.
No, we didn't.
We'll promise we'll try to do a better job of coordinating your schedule. And I'm literally I'm literally about to make a bunch of park reservations because I'm going down to do some planning for the thing 2022 and some coaching in Central Florida, and I need to visit some hotels. So I'm off to see the Wizard again. I had to double check and make sure my gold annual passes were still good before blockout dates.
Yep. So I hear while you were down there, you got to hang out with a certain podcasting friend of mine.
Yes, the great poo guru himself, Ryan Street, who did start. I think we should call him the poo guru from now on.
How about just call him the Pooroo?
The Pooroo, yeah. He started at the thing. One of the things he walked away was like, I'm gonna start Bibbidi Boppity Poo. So shout out to Ryan Street, and Mrs. Ryan Street came to the thing as well for a night and hung out with us. Well, we had our friend. We had a comedian on Friday night and open up our session. I was like, come on, hang out, we'll laugh together, and got to meet her. That was amazing. I'm excited about all the things I'm going to be collaborating with on the streets. They're an amazing family, they've been, Ryan's been a listener and a supporter of your show, my show, this show, and just WDW Today, just a good dude, and it was good to see him there. And it was good to see him. One of the big ideas around the thing, dude, is that we support people who pick themselves.
Yeah,
and Ryan kind of showed up in the middle of like. One of the kind of what got him in the room was like his dad passed away recently, and his dad was a writer, and he kind of showed up thinking, hey, I'm gonna, I want to help my dad's stuff. And I kind of asked him the question. I was like, what if the legacy you could leave for your dad was that you stepped into your calling? And that would probably make your dad smile even bigger down from heaven than if you got his books on Amazon. And so, yeah, we're excited about Ryan. It was just good to hang out with him. Got to hang out with him a little bit in Pt2 East, as we like to call it.
Yes.
The east edge of the galaxy's edge. Yeah, man, there's a little bit of Disney news came out since we've last podcast. Not much Disney DVC news because the old D23 Expo occurred. And the
Destination D. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah, it's old Destination D, and I'm. It's not my favorite named Disney product that they have, but and
it's a little phallic, just a little.
Your friend and my friend Bob Chapek was unable to make it, strangely because of apparently Bob Iger's farewell dinner, which was an interesting narrative for that to be the reason, which is a little strange, knowing that the Walt Disney Company owns a private jet, and so or two. So, like, I feel like he probably could have made it there, but nonetheless, the real reason why he probably didn't come is there wasn't a whole lot to announce.
Well, and people would probably boo him. People would probably boo.
Well, I mean, dude, I get it. I've never signed up to be the president of his fan club. And am not planning on doing so anytime in the future. But, navigating the Disney company through this time will be very much identified by the pandemic. And I think it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear that it's going to take a lot of leadership and creativity to get us forward. And I think that was kind of evident really painfully at the Destination D, because literally, like, I got up on Saturday morning ready to, like, okay, bring it on, baby, bring it on. At the very least, maybe I'm going to hear that we're actually going to do all the things that we're promised of doing. Maybe we're actually going to get the Mary Poppins attraction in England. Maybe that's really going to happen. And no, that did not get announced. No, the new theater that was announced at the last D23 and Magic Kingdom, that wasn't announced. Basically, all that were announced were a bunch. Nothing new was announced for the U.S. parks at all. Everything was announced.
Nothing new. There is nothing new under the sun.
Right.
So, I mean,
yeah. Apparently, yeah. But what they did announce was we got to see a peek at the rooms of the new DVC Tower at Disneyland. And that actually might get me to buy direct again. I would like
Really?
enough. I would like enough points to be able to book at the 11-month window to go to Disneyland for a trip once a year or once every other year.
But you can buy indirect at California Adventures or what?
Oh, dude,
Grand
but
Cali.
the problem. Here's the problem, right? The access is a problem there. The difference you're going to have, there's like 34 studios or something like it's way less than that.
Right?
It's an
Wow.
insanely low number. It's way less than 100, and you're talking an entire tower is going to be built, and it's going to be mostly studios.
Yeah.
So they're learning that the studios and the one bedrooms, although I'm kind of quickly becoming a one bedroom man. But I mean, dude, I'm just talking about. I don't think you need more than 3 or 4 nights at Disneyland to knock that sucker out.
Good to know.
Yeah, I don't think you need. I think Disneyland is a great destination. And I always tell people the difference between Walt Disney World and Disneyland is Disneyland is very much the Disney company's greatest hits record. One of the big differences is it fluctuates between. I mean, Ratatouille might have changed it, but there's almost the exact same number of attractions at Disneyland in 2 parks as there is in 4 parks at Disneyland.
Wow.
Now, granted, what you've sacrificed is immersive spaces and environments. Queues. Your queues to a lot of things. There is no tent or play area at Dumbo. There is hot sun and a little tent. It's all right, and so it's all. I mean, the queue for the Matterhorn is all just wrapping around the mountain, right? So there's not the queue for the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which is now the kind of odd version of Finding Nemo. That queue basically wraps around the monorail poles.
Oh wow!
And up and up, down and below. So.
Wow, that's not good.
So, but in the same time, and I think your experience with Genie Plus at Disneyland is going to be way different than your experience with Genie Plus at Walt Disney World for that reason.
That's very true. And the one thing we did find out that I find kind of interesting, and you say nothing new for the U.S. parks, here is something new. Disneyland will actually be using Magic Bands for the first time starting in 2022.
And they're getting Magic Band. Of course, they're getting Magic Band Plus. Not just Magic Band. They're getting the new Magic Bands with haptic and taptic.
And it'll interact with the Disney Play app, which I find. I mean, it's cool. It'd be cool for my girls.
Dude, but we're all going to go buy new Magic Bands. There's no arguments, right?
No, it's all right here for me now. I honestly, I didn't wear my Magic Band the last time I was in the park because it was all on my Apple Watch.
Well, but that's why they're doing the Plus, because it won't be all on your Apple Watch.
That's true. Carrie asked, would they ever sacrifice the number of rides to fix that issue at Disneyland?
No, because they have a capacity issue. Disneyland needs a third gate awfully bad. Since Dave and I actually, what's interesting is since we tried to record last, Disney World has paused sales of the annual passes, except for the very lower tier. And here's my only problem with that. I'm glad they do. And this is going to sound like I'm an entitled DVC owner, and I am. I'm an entitled DVC owner because I invested my money with a Walt Disney Company, and I got the rights to get a blue card. Dave. But listen to this, Dave. I firmly believe that as a DVC owner, there should never not be a time where I can use my benefit to buy an annual pass. In particularly, if I'm going, and here's what I don't understand. I'm sure I'd be shocked if they're going to let people buy in right now and not let them have an annual pass. If I was to go and buy at Riviera right now, I would imagine member services would find a magical way to sell me an annual pass, because if that would come in between me and closing a sale or not, I'm sure. So
of course.
If you have a blue card if you have bought direct points with the Walt Disney Company, there is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't have the ability to purchase an annual pass. Hard
So
stop.
I think I will go one further than you. And I think you have told me this, and I'm going to actually adopt your thought process here. And this is actually going to be a little bit of plagiarism, and people are going to be shocked that this is coming out of my mouth because I am Mr. Disney. Like I toe that Disney line.
Man.
Yeah, I towed that line. Which, by the way, the stock price looks horrible right now. If you haven't looked at that in the last week or two,
Yeah. If you want to talk about what'll change the decisions at a company more than any petition that people fill out, that stock price.
Right. But here is my, and this is how we're going to tie it all back into DVC before we get into really Terry's trip. I believe that if you are a DVC member, if you have paid all of this money to buy into DVC, and we can call this a blue card thing, you have to buy direct to get this. If you have bought into Disney to be a member for at least 50 years, an annual pass should come with that.
Well, back in the original day, when you used your points for the days that you exercised on property, you got tickets included.
Yeah, that it should still do that.
The original people that joined at the original DVC club, right? Even before it was called Old Key West, when it was just the Disney Vacation Club, those people all got tickets. So if you made a reservation and stayed there, your room key at the time, which they brought those back, got you access to the parks.
See, I don't think that needs to be the case. I think that
no, that's the same thing, dude. And if you join Club 33, right? Like that's another thing you purchase from Disney, you get an annual pass with that.
Oh, really?
Yep. That's one of the big perks of being a Club 33 member.
Okay, well, maybe I need to be a Club 33 member.
Because that annual pass, here's what's going to make you level up your income, Dave Adams. That annual pass is magical. It includes 16 Lightning Lane admissions a day, which, spoiler alert, you're hard pressed because I've had access to their tickets. You're hard pressed to use 16s to ride 16 attractions in one day without killing yourself.
Okay.
So, and that's for every member. That's for every member of your immediate family.
So what? That's $25,000 up front.
No, let's not discuss the numbers because they change and they go. But
it's a lot of money.
Well, it is a lot of money. The part that's a lot of money isn't the annual spend. The annual spend pays for itself because they get access to VIP tours.
Right. Oh.
And
okay.
They get 4 or 5 of those. And those pay for themselves. If you have a family of 4 or larger, it's virtually a no-brainer. There are a lot of people who that are travel agents that have it just because it's not a whole lot more than buying their large family annual passes. It's just that initial upfront spend.
Do you and I know a D23 or D33 member?
A Club 33 member?
Club 33, yes.
I know about 10.
Okay. Do we have any overlap in the knowledge?
You probably know of them. You may not know them.
Okay. Anyway,
they're technically not supposed to. There's some goofy rules around it. It's almost like the club that the Flintstones were a part of with the Grand Poobah hats.
Well, so
it's got a bunch of goofy rules.
One of the rules I've heard before we're getting on a tangent now.
It's Fight Club.
Yeah.
One of the rules about Fight Club is nobody talks about Fight Club.
One of the rules I've heard is that if you have ever gone up to the Club 33 entry point and just jokingly tried to get in, you're blacklisted. Like if your Magic Band has ever tried to badge in and you're not a member, I've heard that you get blacklisted for that.
I don't know. I've never heard of that.
Okay, well that's just something I've
That
heard.
sounds goofy.
It,
That's
well, it
that's
does,
that's pretty petty.
but it's I mean
That's a
it
level
kind
of
of
pettiness I haven't unlocked, but I like it. Um, let's talk Vero Beach.
okay. Vero
So
Beach.
so Leslie and I, before the thing, I made a decision this year. And if you don't know what the thing, it's the conference I do. I do one in Orlando, and there might be another city where one's coming to in 2022. But the main event is always in Orlando. The big event's always in Orlando. And one of the things that I like to do in my life, and this is bougie, this is one percenter, is I knew I needed to be going to this relaxed, right? It's a very intense week. I'm serving people in their businesses at a really intense level. Not just the attendees, but the speakers who are all friends. So, imagine you were having 50 people over to your house for Thanksgiving or even more than that. That's what the thing is for me. I'm setting a table, a large dinner. I'm serving multiple meals. I'm making there's a lot of moving pieces. And I'm also speaking. I spoke 3 full talks this year at the thing and probably a
Impressive.
bunch of little micro things. It was a lot. And so I wanted to go to Vero for the purpose of like just getting away. So on the Friday night of Halloween weekend, we went to go see 2 of our favorite bands, Need to Breathe and Switchfoot at Bridgestone Arena. And they were amazing.
Need to Breathe is a great band.
Dude, they were fantastic. I've seen them live, but I've never seen them live at this level. This was the biggest show they've ever played. And
wow.
Nashville is known for the biggest like headlining show. Like it was their show, not like a festival. I'm sure they played festivals with hundreds of thousands of people, but and Nashville's notorious for calling out people. So at the end, their encore, they have a couple of songs. Carrie Underwood has done a song with them on their record, and they've done a song on Carrie Underwood. She came out, they did a song they did together, one of those songs. It was amazing. Carrie Underwood blew the roof off the building. Holy crap, she can sing.
Yes, she can.
And I'm definitely going to be buying some Carrie Underwood concert tickets. And I don't even like country music, but Carrie's a different beast. Literally a beast. But that was unbelievable. We got up the next morning and flew to Orlando. We stopped at my storage unit in Celebration, which, yes, because of the thing, I get things all the time. So we have a storage unit in Celebration where we keep things for the thing, and we keep like blankets and pillows and a fan and like the bottled water we didn't use on the last trip and just some stuff like that. And I will say this, if you are there a lot, get an owner's locker or get a storage unit with some friends and start to bring a few things down there. And I mean, I was down there for 2 weeks, so having my own pillow for 2 weeks was a big deal. Having an extra blanket, and I'm a blanket hoarder. I would if I can make it snow in the room. I don't know if this is you at all, but maybe this might be. But I like it snowing in the room when I'm in a hotel room.
I'm
and
the
then I
same
want as
way.
many blankets and as much weight as I can.
Yep.
So if I could get an elephant to sleep on top of me at night, I'd be happy with that. Like I want like as many blankets as I can. So like we went and picked those up, and then we drove to Vero. And our first stop in Vero. What's interesting about Vero, dude, is like don't be shocked if in the next few years you and I start doing half the episodes a year from me at a condo in Vero Beach, because we're falling in love with that little place, man. And
really,
you know what's weird about it is like, and for those of you who don't know, in Nashville, we live right in between redneck and ritzy. We live right in between, like everyone's got Louis Vuitton and everyone drives a John Deere. So like half our neighbors are rednecks, another half of our neighbors are crazy Beamer driving people, and then a bunch of people are Beamer driving rednecks. But like I like that collision of like Florida man and fancy. So we're Florida man meets Nordstrom's, and that's kind of Vero Beach, because on one half of the street you'll find like an $18 million home. And across the street, it's like $130,000 decent neighborhood. So like I love Vero. We're falling in love with it. We stopped at a place called Crab Stop, which is one of their famous little seafood places. and had like their kind of attempt at Maryland crabs. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
It was a good little stop. We enjoyed it and had great eats there. And then I knew our room wasn't going to be ready because Vero's kind of notoriously slow when switching rooms over. And so we finally went to Vero, checked in, did that whole process. This was on October 30th. So we did that, had a good time, enjoyed that, and then went to the resort and hung out for the night, and then went to Old Town Vero and went to this place called Ocean Grill. And Ocean Grill is like an old school. Have you ever been to a city and it's like you can tell where all the people that have been living there have gone there for years?
Yes.
Like when you used to visit your grandparents as like growing up. This is that kind of establishment. Like it's been passed on through generations.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
These people, and if you listen to WDW today, imagine if Logan Seculo owned a restaurant. It was nice, it was cool, but the entire restaurant was decked out like over the top Halloween. And they do that for Halloween and Christmas. They over the top decked out, like full on, like it took 2 days to decorate this place with their whole staff, probably.
Wow.
I mean, like fixtures and like cobwebs and like orange lights and purple lights and like they literally do almost like their own take on like an overlay, like you get like the Haunted Mansion. In fact, they put more effort into decorating this restaurant. Oh, this pains me to say this.
Oh, don't say it.
They put more effort into decorating this than Disney puts into decorating Living with the Land.
Wow.
Like, and so it's sort of like if the Osborne family lights went in a restaurant, that's what these people do. But it's semi upscale dining.
Okay.
I had a stuffed lobster that was absolutely insane. And it was like $40. Which in the grand scheme of like eating, like,
wow,
it's interesting when you go to Disney compared to go to somebody else. All of a sudden, like a $40 lobster seems like a discount. But we had
it does,
right? Like that same lobster at Disney would be like $160. But man, we had a great meal there and enjoyed that.
Oh,
and then,
it'd be
yeah. And Dave, you still with us?
I'm here. Okay. I'm here.
You froze for a second on the your internet was arguing with us.
That's weird.
Sunday
that's odd.
Was a super like I wanted to like I said like Les I told one of my main goals was going there to be able just to sit on the balcony. The difference between Vero and Hilton Head and the DVC resorts is Hilton Head is actually not on the water. It's on a marsh. This is oceanfront. So my balcony was like overlooking the ocean. I ended up with a balcony that had kind of a semi-instructive view. And I stayed in what was called like their inn-style rooms, which are basically hotel rooms that had 2 queen beds and no like pull down. The studios at Vero Beach are really, really small, but they're more points than the inn-style rooms. And the inn-style rooms is a much better situation. So we did that. And then Sunday I said, hey, babe, we ain't leaving the hotel today.
Nice.
Today's our day. We're going nowhere. We're staying here. We're going to sit by the pool. We're going to go walk on the beach. I'm going to work. I will say the internet kind of was awful. Like they need to figure that out. But the internet, other than the internet, which was fine because it forced me to relax a little more and to work kind of offline. But I needed to work on like my slides and stuff. I just ended up doing that later. We got up. We went to the other big difference is they have a bar on property where they really don't have one at Hilton Head. They have kind of like a pool bar. This is a nice.
Really?
It's called the Green Cabin Room, and then the Green Cabin Room has an entire deck that's the same size as the bar that overlooks the ocean. So in the mornings, that's like a coffee shop. You can get some like light breakfast items, like croissants, rolls, and then you can go. They have like coffees and stuff. Like they had Jeffrey's Coffee Espresso, and even some like adult coffee drinks.
You know my thoughts on Jeffrey's Coffee.
Their espresso isn't too shabby.
Okay.
And the roast that's currently in the room is definitely better than the normal roast for Jeffrey's. They're doing a dark roast that's a 50th blend. I actually find that tastes better than the regular Jeffrey's.
I'll have to try it then.
Now I will say this, dude. What they had before was awful. So Jeffrey's may not be ideal, but it's a step in the right direction. So we did that, went and had that, got up, relaxed, and then we decided we were going by the pool. And outside of the pool, there's another bar. And that we actually had cocktails at that bar. We had an amazing mojito. I had a Mai Tai, and we ordered some nachos and some fish tacos. And then we just sat by the pool the rest of the day. And next to the pool, in the pool area, is a putt-putt, and that's included for DVC members. So we played a little putt-putt. I destroyed her in putt-putt. Like annihilated by like 10 or 15 points on 9 holes.
Wow.
Yeah, Leslie had a rough day, but she's not ever going to listen to this show. So we'll find out if she listens now, or she might be listening live, and we'll find out in the comments.
I hadn't seen a comment come through yet, so I think you're good.
I think we're good. But yeah, we did that, and we just totally relaxed for the day. It was a lot of fun. And that day was Halloween. So if you're watching online, it was October 31st. So they handed me this and said, hey, here's all the locations of where they're trick-or-treating. We want you to go trick-or-treat. They handed us the little trick-or-treat and said to go. They actually decorated one of the rooms for Halloween.
Oh, that's cool.
And I went to check that out, and there was like a 40-minute wait for that. And I'm like, I'm not waiting to go see a hotel decorated for Halloween for 40 minutes. If y'all don't have a fast pass for this,
Lightning lane, Terry. Lightning lane.
If I can't pay for the lightning lane access, I'll give you the $15 to skip all these people now. I got 0 time.
Hey, real quick, Carrie says, can y'all do a one-off show about Hilton Head?
Oh, yeah. We sure can. I've been to Hilton Head. I wish I played golf, because I would go to Hilton Head a lot more. The big difference for Carrie, just so she kind of understands, the difference with Hilton Head is the beach experience is basically Disney has a club at the beach. You still get beach access. But actually, since we've last recorded, Disney fired their favorite employee at Hilton Head, and that's Shadow the dog, who was kind of the mascot of Hilton Head. Huh? What did you say?
The puppy.
Yeah.
That's puppy.
That's kind of heartless. I mean, DVC fans have been like up in arms about it. It's been it's interesting to watch what people lose their mind over. People have lost their minds over the golden retriever.
Didn't they just release a pin with the puppy on
it? A special limited edition pin for DVC members with a dog on it. Because those things happen years in advance.
Yeah, but they just came out like the day after the dog got cut or something like that.
Yeah. That Joker should have just went straight to the outlet mall, but man, somebody messed up on that. So we went trick-or-treating, a lot of fun. We just kind of went around and like this wasn't costing Disney anything. It was all like the M&M Mars and Snickers, and we tried one of those amazing. If you haven't had the Snickers brownie situation, those are amazing.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. There was a Twix, like salted caramel Twix or something, that was pretty ridiculous that we had a bunch of, but Leslie somehow find a way to make those disappear.
I don't know. What are you talking about? Yeah,
exactly. But yeah, dude, it was a fun time. We went to dinner that night at Wind and Wave, which is kind of their on property, table service restaurant. Big also difference, Hilton Head and Vero. Hilton Head has no table service, period. They just basically they don't even really have a quick service. They just kind of have 2 pool bar quick service counters. And one's at the beach and one's at the regular hotel. They're not even really like full on market worthy. And so the quick service, also called the Wind and Waves Market, is a full on like quick service that you get like at Riviera, or like it's the same size, same kind of size and scale and menu as you'd have at like the Poly or any of those other resorts. But we went to the sit down Wind and Wave. Leslie got like an Oscar style like local catch, and I got a ribeye. And it was a good dinner. It was a relaxing day. We got up the next morning, went to one of our favorite little places there in Vero called Squid Lips, which is a place that's kind of on like the intercoastal waterway. It's just kind of a dive seafood place.
So whoa. You were eating dinner while the Braves were tanking in Game 4, right?
Yes.
And you were at one of your favorite places. So you were paying attention. You instead of paying attention to Leslie, you were watching the Braves?
Well, we went up and watched the Braves after dinner. We had a pretty early dinner, and then we went up and watched.
Okay.
And then that was the last game I was able to catch live.
Oh, you missed the good one.
What game did we win? Did we win on Tuesday night?
Yeah, Game 6.
Yeah, Game 6 was Tuesday night, and I was with Art Smith at Art Smith's restaurant. So,
I don't know. Braves winning the World Series, hanging out with Art Smith.
Well, I wasn't hanging out with Art was in town, but couldn't come to dinner that night because he had an early morning. We took our VIPers to Art Smith's that night. But yeah, how are we doing on time here, Dave?
We are at 36. So do we need to do a part 2 for the Disney World stuff?
Yeah, we can continue this and split this up.
Okay.
Yeah, so Vero Beach. Let's just wrap up the Vero Beach episode, and then I can do kind of my part D of the trip report. Yeah, went to Squid Lips, had an amazing time. We loved that place. Kind of ended our time in Vero Beach. And dude, if you're a DVC member, don't sleep on Vero Beach. It's right down the road. It's a great tag, either before or after of your trip. It is oceanfront. It depends on how, like, if you want to go to the beach and do the beach thing is there. If you want to just know that the ocean's there and listen to the waves is there. They have all of the studios, 1 bedrooms, and the grand villas are awesome, and they're on the waterfront. They're amazing. And those suckers go fast. They're like it's a great like holiday stop. It's a great get away with the family. And I think the points are appropriately priced for there. We will for sure be back the weekend before the thing 2022. As soon as my 7-month window comes, I'll be getting myself an in-ocean view room again.
I need to buy more points so I can do that.
Yeah, dude. And here's what it is. There are 2 types of and I'll put it this way. Imagine you were going to Beach Club, but instead of going to Epcot for a day, the beach was right there. It's a much lower key vacation. And so, if you're wanting to go to Walt Disney World, and I don't know about you, dude, but most of the time when I go to Walt Disney World, I need a vacation from my vacation.
It depends on how you do it, but yes. there are times.
Now, this trip, as you'll hear in the next episode, I did not do that. I paced myself. I enjoyed myself. But yeah, so that'll do it for this episode. If you're listening to the live stream, we're just going to keep going. But that'll do it for this episode. I hope this was helpful. If you guys have questions about Vero Beach, be sure and post them in the Top of the World Listeners Lounge, and we will see you next time from right here in our non-existent lounge at Top of the World.
Okay, we're good.
Play the music again. Let's do this thing.
Okay.
This is Top of the World, the Disney Vacation Club podcast. A proud part of the WDW Today and Laugh-O-Gram Studios family. Join us as we talk parks, points, perks, and all things DVC, and how to get the most out of your membership. Here they are, Dave Adams and Terry Weaver.
Well, welcome home. I'm Terry Weaver.
I'm Dave Adams.
And you are listening to the DVC podcast, Top of the World. And we are back with part duh of my trip
Yeah.
report. You guys have just heard last week's episode where I went to Vero Beach before I went to the thing. And now we're going to pick up with episode 2 here in this journey of both the thing and kind of my post thing kind of getaway. If you're following along, there's kind of 3 movements, like before, during, and after. So yeah, you ready? You ready to do this, Dave? Is there anything else you want to chat about?
So
at the same time, Dave went on a cruise.
We'll talk about that in the next episode.
Oh, next episode. Well, we're not doing that today.
No, not today. No.
Yeah, we've got so much content. We're going to spread it out over a couple episodes, rather than like that way Dave can edit these episodes and get them out for you to enjoy in your holiday travels.
Well, I'm hungry. I've got sushi waiting on me upstairs. So let's.
Ooh, yeah, I had sushi for lunch yesterday. So
yeah,
good on you. I've got dinner reservations. So we're going to get this done. Dave and I are both hungry.
Let's get it going.
Speaking of dinner,
yep.
We left Vero Beach and headed to the wonderful, world-renowned, world-famous Airbnb in Logan's vacation home there in Central Florida and the Reunion Resort. And I will tell you this, if you don't have a DVC membership and are looking for another way, or if you're looking for another trip and you want to maybe use your DVC points to go to Alani or Vero Beach, as we've just talked about in the last episode, and if you want to take a larger group, and some people won't fit in the 3-bedroom. Some people, you want a more luxury experience. I highly recommend the Airbnb. It's where I took my VIP folks. It's where McNair, Wilson, my Imagineer buddy, and I. In fact, that's where we're ending. We left Vero Beach and went to drive around kind of the area where the new Disney campus is going to be in Lake Nona.
Nice.
Just because kind of, obviously I'm in Orlando a lot. So it may be time to put a Pachyderm office down there, a southern location somewhere. So we're spending a lot of time down there, and we checked that out and went and got some coffee in Lake Nona, and then met McNair with some coffee in there from Starbucks when he got off the plane. And then we went to the world famous Airbnb, checked in there, got to enjoy that, relax for a little bit. We were all starved, so we ordered. I don't know. No, we didn't order lunch. We ordered lunch there the next day, but we went to meet one of my new friends, Ricky Diebler, and Ricky runs the Palmas Family Restaurant Group, which runs the Mexico Pavilion, La Cava, and they run the restaurants, several of the restaurants at Coronado Springs, and the restaurant Fonterra at Disney, also at Disney Springs.
Yeah.
So
Fonterra
Rick Bayless's restaurant.
Yeah, and it's actually really good. We had that a couple trips ago.
Yeah, and it's always comes in handy to know the guy that runs runs La Cava. So we went on down to meet him and some of our other friends at Enzo's Hideaway, because it was honestly pretty crowded. So we went on down to Enzo's Hideaway and went to hang out.
I'm interested to hear your thoughts on Enzo's, because I've had it before and I was not impressed.
Which Enzo's Hideaway or Maria and Enzo's?
Enzo's Hideaway.
Maria and Enzo's, you're going because it's an experience.
Yes.
Maria and Enzo's is hot garbage. That place is terrible. But Enzo's Hideaway more is a feeling and a playing. We had great food and great drinks and great service.
Okay.
The menu is a little hurting right now because it's a little pared back.
Yeah.
Like we got a charcuterie board and a couple of pasta dishes and split them, and they were pretty good.
Okay. We weren't impressed last time we went, but that was a long time ago.
Dude,
so
it's theme park Italian at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. Okay. That's a great way to say it. But see, I'm used to Italian being the Italian pavilion and eating at somewhere in Italy there.
That's the company that runs Maria and Enzo's runs all the rest. Same people.
Huh. Okay.
Yep. So, I think a lot of the Disney restaurants You need to know what to get.
I can, yes.
You know, if somebody tells me, I went to Ohana and didn't like it, I just got some dry chicken. Well, okay. There was steak and shrimp on the menu and you didn't eat that? Well, that's your problem. Right?
Right.
And so,
there's
like,
bread pudding. You didn't eat the bread pudding. What's wrong with you?
Right. And so it's sort of like, well, I went to Sanan. It wasn't that great. Did you have the bread service? No. Have you heard me talk about the bread service? Okay, well, you should have got the bread service.
Right.
So, like, Disney very much is that way. It's like, I got you got to get the right thing at a lot of those. In some restaurants are more sensitive to that. And a lot of the restaurants are still the supply chain, right? Like we're talking about the pandemic. The supply chain is very much in effect in Walt Disney World. I've never seen empty store shelves at a Disney retail establishment. If you want anything from the 50th, it's gone. I had a list of things that I wanted. I want that stinking $39 Lego castle.
It was on Shop Disney the other day.
Yeah, every time I go, it's gone.
Oh no!
Like, if you see it, Dave Adams, just buy me the thing and send it to my house.
Yeah, we'll do.
Because I keep looking for the thing, and it's like, and here's the, and let's, you can say whatever you want about what Disney. They got to fix Shop Disney. They've shut all the Disney stores down. I want to be able to use my pass holder discounts. I want to be able to use my DVC discounts. I want to be able to go on, and if it's not available, put me in a queue. Let me go ahead and buy it and send it when it comes in. If it takes 2 months, I don't care. Just don't make me keep coming back. I eventually gave up on the Walt Disney Pop. I just bought the thing and broke all like my moral compass code to buy it from like a reseller. Because honestly, I just got tired of how bad the shopping experience was on Shop Disney.
Yeah.
To buy something that they told me I wanted, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I'm
glad I got it when I did.
Yeah, we went to Marina Lenzo's. It was a good dinner. It was probably as much as the company was fun. We literally shut the place down. Had a great time. We had a couple of our folks with us, and Ricky was with us. McNair was with us. It was a fun time. And then we got out of there on it was a Tuesday night, and like Disney Springs was like closed at like 11. Like everything was shut down. Like we wanted to go. Like the only thing one of the guys was like, I want dessert. I'm like the only thing was still open was the ATM at Sprinkles Cupcakes. But we still had a good time. Then we went back to the Airbnb. I decided to kind of sleep in that next morning just because I knew it was a busy week. Because our event started Tuesday night with a VVIP dinner. So I think we ordered like something on Grubhub, Uber Eats. We had a Greek restaurant bring some food in. And that was fun. And then we ended up heading towards moving some of the stuff from my storage unit to the hotel where we were having the event, the Hyatt Place. So we did that.
Is that one of the good neighbors there at the Disney Springs area, or was it?
It's right outside of Disney Springs.
Okay, I know exactly which one you're talking about then.
Yeah, and we, I'll say this: being a hotel in Central Florida is hard. Those hotels get used and abused. I mean, that hotel is practically brand new and it's beat up quickly.
Oh, wow.
The event space was amazing, but the rooms are tired. And Disney happens that. I mean, I was in I've said this about the old Key West rooms. It was like, y'all just had refurb, but it looks like this place is abandoned. It's like a haunted hotel. So, yeah. And so like we did that. And then we met everyone up at Art Smith's homecoming for dinner and kind of had our VVBIP welcome dinner and had a great time hanging out there. And I think literally everybody in our party, we went from there to Wine Bar George.
Okay.
Which I had never actually sat down in before. At that point, I really didn't want any wine just because I was exhausted. Not like bad exhausted, but just like I knew if I had a glass of wine that I was going to be napping on someone's shoulder. And I didn't want I wanted just a light dessert because we didn't have dessert at Art Smith's. I do love Art Smith's desserts, but they're super sweet.
You didn't have that hummingbird cake?
I love the hummingbird cake, but I didn't want I had a moonshine, the watermelon moonshine drink that I like. I did have that. But then we went to Wine Bar George and snagged the olive oil cake with candied olives, just because it sounded ridiculous. And it was literally, dude, one of the best things I've ever had in my entire life.
I'm not a fan of olives, though.
Okay, you got to try it at least once, because it's not savory, but it's not super sweet. It was a very unique flavor. The olives were candied, which
okay.
It's like $8. You're either gonna like it and go, man, that was amazing. Terry was right, or woof, I still don't like olives.
I'll take your word for that. Now, I'll try it once. I will definitely try it once, but I just
your wife would probably love it, because it's a very it was a small little. Have you ever been to that place, Nothing Bundt Cakes?
Yes, I love that place.
Yeah, it was a bundt cake. So, but and we had a great time. We closed them down, and then
I'm sensing a theme here, Terry.
Yeah, well, you know what happens at the thing, man, is everybody kind of gets together, and one of the things I've kind of realized about this community is it's really a family. It's people who live around the country who have these big dreams and these businesses and these side hustles, and they're not around people all the time who normally think and dream and have the vision that they do. And so when you get around other people who are like-minded, you kind of don't want to stop.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I have to pace myself just because I know I'm kind of staying at level 11 every week. So I'm kind of, I'm like this. I'm like, I'd love to hang out, but I'm going to bed. Good night.
Yeah.
I left before the whole group left. About half of us left early, and I think some of the rest of them stayed literally until they kicked them out. So we went from there, and then got up the next morning. Everybody met at the Airbnb and had our VVIT day. It was an amazing day. And then we brought in one of the old Ohana and Kona Cafe chefs to be a private chef for us for dinner. And that was a great way to end the day. And honestly, the food was better than Ohana. It was absolutely amazing. In fact, Chad Pennycuff was with us. He checked in that night after the VVIT day and said, dude, this food was better than real Ohana, and it was just leftovers. And so that was a great experience. And I highly encourage you. There's a couple of chefs. I use Chef Caleb.
Did he make the teriyaki noodles?
Yes, he made the teriyaki noodles, and he made the peanut sauce, which you can't even get it at Ohana right now. And so
yeah, you can't.
Yeah, and so so he was amazing. It was a great experience. Come to your villa and do it for you. You've obviously got to have a 1-bedroom or larger because you need a kitchen,
right?
But I guess he could bring drop off food. But the experience of having a chef and sitting around the table, it's a pretty cool experience. So if you're coming, I highly recommend Chef Caleb. Tell him I sent you, and he'll take amazing care of you. It was a great experience. That was Wednesday. Thursday, we got up and everyone met for breakfast at the Ale and Compass Lounge restaurant there. That's the restaurant. And we had, of course, I told them all to either get the dark chocolate waffles with the espresso whipped cream or the shrimp and grits. Honestly, one of the best shrimp and grits I've ever had, and I've had a lot of shrimp and grits.
That's saying something.
Yeah, so strong. It may not be number one, but it's up. It's in the top 10% of shrimp and grits.
Wow. Okay.
For me, you know what it is? It's just a lot of layers of flavor. What makes a great shrimp and grit is the grits are great, and then the shrimp are cooked correctly, and then the sauce is typically and their sauce was super flavorful and very almost Cajun-y. Great way to start the day. And that's kind of where our Disney day, this was the VIP day, right? So this is the people who come. The VVIP day is when people come, and so if people ask us, what's the VVIP day? What we do in that day is everybody gets kind of an experience where we put their business in the hot seat. And I bring in one of my business associates in McNair Wilson from Disney Imagineering fame comes in, my Tower of Terror buddy, and we come in and kind of help people with their business and help them with just kind of whatever they're working on, whether they're working on a book or a project or just need general help and direction. So we do that. And then we do a VIP day in the parks. And so this year I chose Epcot. I'm not sure why I chose Epcot. We just haven't done Epcot.
You mean Walcott?
And it was the first park McNair worked at. It was the park where Marty Sklar hired McNair. And it was where before even McNair was an Imagineer, he was with the SAC players. They did the theater show in England and in Italy. That was his company that Disney hired. And they hired him, and so we did that. So I made the decision. Okay, these are VIP people. These are people who have invested at a pretty high level. I'm going to do Genie Plus for them.
I'd like to hear your thoughts.
So, so like I said, the Sherman grits at Ale and Compass are in my top grits in the world country kind of experience. Genie Plus is literally one of the worst Disney experiences I've ever had. And I'll caveat it with saying with a large group at Epcot. What Genie Plus is going to reveal, and it's a problem that someone, whether his name is Josh or Bob or maybe our good friend John Lasseter, they'll have the good sense to bring him back to the fold because he's the missing link. Write your congressman and your senator. Keep John Lasseter alive. Why Max Plus worked so well at Disneyland was the fact that you had all 60 attractions within walking distance. So you can literally ride Space Mountain and then get a basically a Max Pass for Cars Land. So basically, for most of the parks, you're confined to that park. So Epcot, you quickly are running out of. There ain't a lot of attractions at Epcot, my friend.
No, there's not, and that's a problem because, really, once you look at it, once you've ridden Test Track and Soarin', and I guess you could throw Frozen in there, but once you've ridden those three, you're kind of SOL. I guess.
Let's put it this way: all of those weren't going to be an option for the day, and it wasn't that crowded.
Wow.
We rode Soarin' and Spaceship Earth, and that was it on the Genie Plus.
Wow.
I could have rode Test Track at 2:30, mind you, 2:30 p.m., 3 o'clock. My next option after riding Spaceship Earth. Now, granted, I had to spend almost an hour to get the Genie Plus to work the first time. I had to go again to the blue shirt flag tent people umbrella because people kept falling off, and I had to pay for them again because it was such a cluster that I didn't want to waste any more time. I was like, take $30 more, put them back on, because we went to Soarin'. A couple people that was the first thing I did. Is like, let's get one for Soarin'. We came in the International Gateway. We stopped at Starbucks and went to Soarin'. Soarin' was a great experience. We didn't use Genie Plus. We just went on Living with the Land because I think Living with the Land is honestly one of the best attractions in Epcot. I think it shows the real history of Epcot. It's one of the last standing stalwarts of what Epcot was designed to be and Walt's original vision for what Epcot was going to be with the experimental prototype community of tomorrow, or Progress City, as it was also called. And so all of that to say, did not have a good Genie Plus experience. Disney was not equipped to take care of it. Literally, guest services did not care. Now, granted, I had almost 20 people on this thing. So you could do the math on what I spent on this.
Right.
That's a lot of money for basically people who I'm bringing to Disney and shining a light on Disney and saying, you know what, you need to be in your business. You need to be excellent like Disney's excellent in your business. They kind of disproved that. And when I went to get Disney's guest services afterwards, now I had several travel agents with you, not just travel agents, travel agency owners.
Oh, wow.
And one of the people that had fell off the reservation is one of the largest travel agencies in Canada. Yeah. So, all of that to say, no bueno on El Genie Plus O.
Yeah, and let's be honest, it probably isn't. It's new, and it's probably not the best thing for Epcot. Now, if you were in Hollywood Studios, Magic Kingdom, I'm not even going to throw Animal Kingdom in there. If you're at Hollywood Studios or
Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom may be Hollywood Studios.
I really, really don't think it would do me any good at Epcot or Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So, we did use the DAS pass. That's the opposite of that. Much better, way improved, great experience. Thank God we had that for Leslie and I after the trip. But it's for me, it's not fair for me to bring, a large group of people and expect them to get that. That's abusing the system, and I won't do it.
Agreed.
So yeah, that was kind of our deal. We did that, and then we ended our day with Harmonious. And let me just say this: we saw Harmonious from the balcony in Japan. Harmonious, top notch. What a great show! Everybody loved it. I recommend actually trying to find somewhere that's not right on the rails to watch it. We loved our balcony experience in Japan, at the Japan Pavilion. Just literally, we walked up the stairs, stood there, camped out probably 45 minutes before. I'm not sure that I would do that every time, but it was worth it for my first time. I loved it. I loved the story. I loved everything about it. I loved how much pyro there was. I'm not sure that I'm still not sure that it's worth the day look that it gives on the lake. The indoor, whatever the gate is, wherever we're going in that big sphere, it's a lot of eyesore during the
Stargate.
Stargate. But for the almost 20 minutes of the show, it's amazing. Absolutely.
I'll say this. And once you've seen the show, once you see why they can't move it, because disconnecting all those water jets would be an issue. And so there's no way to move Stargate. I think that 20 minutes that it is amazing for is enough for the eyesore to me. And that's just
they need to do more. Now, granted, they've been not doing the fountains because there's a water shortage in Central Florida. And little known fact, when the fountains are on, it actually increases evaporation. Even though I don't think the water they use out of that lake is consumable, even with filtering.
No,
if it is, don't tell me because I don't want to know.
Well, they have to show they have to show that they're actually doing their part. I was trying to think of the big word for that.
It's part of their brand.
Conservation. Yeah, that's it.
So, anyways, that was the thing. We did the thing for the weekend. It was absolutely amazing. We had several folks that actually ended up running the half marathon that weekend and still coming to the thing. One of our speakers did the challenge for the weekend, ran all the races and still spoke.
Oh, wow.
Amazing. It was a good weekend. And then a bunch of folks Sunday night went to the Epcot after party, which I did not because I'm an adult and I knew that if I went, I would pass out. We went with a bunch of our folks to Columbia Family Restaurant in Celebration, one of my favorite spots, sat outside. It was a great relaxing end to the thing part of our trip. And then Leslie and I moved on Monday to Saratoga Springs and we're in one of the brand new 1-bedrooms. Those rooms are stunning. Those rooms are next level. The renovation that they've done almost brings the 1-bedrooms. They're actually bigger, but in style and inside the rooms to the level of the Riviera fixtures and appointments.
Okay.
Now, granted, you don't have the the death buckets in the sky. You don't have the location. You do have the drive up ability that you don't get, which some people like and some people don't. If you're busing it like you're a busman,
I am a busman.
Little different experience. I don't recommend Saratoga as a busman. If you want to wise up, get a car and actually have a decent Disney vacation and not depend on Disney transportation to ruin your trip. But some people love that let Disney drive. It ruins my trip every time. I took one bus ride this trip and I was reminded why. Now, granted, it was the night we were trying to see Enchantment.
I get that.
And it was our only way to get back to, and that's the worst part about the Magic Kingdom. We didn't because it was raining so much, and we were actually in a non-Disney bus. We were in a charter bus from Coronado Springs back to Magic Kingdom. We got on the monorail and went and saw the I call it the bottom of the world lounge, the outside balcony in the main building of the Contemporary. And I've still not seen enough enchantment to have a full opinion yet, but I still don't like what I've seen. That's all I'll say. I'm going down in a week or so. I'm going to go see the show from Main Street. I will save my opinion until I've seen it there. I've got to go back down for some thing business and to do some coaching.
Man, it's going to be so crowded when you're there.
I'm going to be there. I'm going to mainly go during the week.
Okay.
And so...
Wait, are we going to have another trip report? So we got my trip report next week.
And then we'll have another. I have a meeting. The only day that I'm going crowded, I have a meeting in an undisclosed location, where I'm coaching somebody in an undisclosed location. So crowds won't be my problem, my friend.
Are you going to the Utilidor?
No, I'm not going to the Utilidor. That's gross. That's leaky and gross, and you're not missing anything. So yeah, that's kind of our experience. We went to Saratoga. That day we went to the Mexico Pavilion, of course, because I just interviewed Ricky Diebler. And coming out this week, actually, or probably by the time this episode actually airs as a podcast, I'll have an episode up where I interviewed Ricky Diebler about his family and how the Imagineers flew to Mexico City, and how literally his grandfather threw the Disney Imagineers offer in the trash. So if you want to hear that whole story, it'll be on my podcast, the Making Elephants Fly podcast. Dave and I both have prior engagements this evening, so I'm going to try to rush through the rest of this trip because you don't need a third trip report from me. So I don't honestly remember which park we went to on Tuesday, of which by days are. I think it was the day we went to Hollywood Studios. We went and rode Rise without the queue. We had a great time. We had lunch at I was able to snag a lunch at the Brown Derby. Had a great experience there.
Ooh.
Sat in the back kind of private room, which was super cool. I forget what they call that room, like the I don't know what they call it. Some kind of, it's not the rainbow room, but it's the bamboo room. I think that's what they call it. If not, there was an uncomfortable amount of bamboo. It should have been the bamboo room. So we did that. That was a great experience. We enjoyed our time in Hollywood Studios. Hollywood Studios is beautiful for Christmas this year. I'm excited to finally hear that Fantasmic is coming back. Not because I enjoy that show at Hollywood Studios, but I do enjoy all the people that thing eats up at the end of the day. I was hopeful that at Destination D that we're going to announce that Paint the Night is coming to Hollywood Studios. I still am hopeful for that. I'm still hopeful for a nighttime parade. I'm still hopeful that more and more parades start to come back. But yeah, we loved our time at Hollywood Studios. Next day we went to, the next day was kind of we went to, I don't remember where we went for dinner. I know we went for dinner. We went to Boma. We decided to roll the dice in a buffet, and Boma was back. It's kind of the best of all of the Boma's menu used to change from night to night, but it's kind of like their best of. And we enjoyed Boma. It was obviously it's a buffet in the middle of the middle end of a pandemic. It was good to see that coming back. I'm not always a buffet eater, but I do like Boma a lot.
Boma is very good.
Yeah, it's a good dining experience. They did that well. It's sad. There's still a handful of restaurants that I love that are closed. Jico and Flying Fish are two of our regs, and both of those are currently closed. Hopefully those will be back by the end or the beginning of the year. It's sad that they're still not back. It's ridiculous with the number of crowds that are coming, and there's so much crowds right now that they're stopping to sell annual passes. So you can't tell me there's not the demand for those places to be open.
It's the workers.
They did that to themselves. I have zero compassion. They did
some of those restaurants.
Disney could have kept those people employed. Disney had enough money in the reserves that they could have. We're only to what we did is we suffered a lot for 2 months, and now we're talking that this is a problem that Disney is going to be suffering with for years to come. it's going to take them another 18 months to get back to normal when it comes to this stuff. I bet maybe more.
You're probably right, but
yeah,
I mean,
so I get it. You're a company man, so let's keep going because I don't want to
Yep.
I don't want to belittle. We did that. Next day we went to Magic Kingdom, and obviously Magic Kingdom with Christmas decorations, absolutely amazing.
Beautiful.
Had a horrible kind of experience in the Starbucks on the just super slow. It took an hour from the time I walked in the door to the time they handed me my drink, and it wasn't with good reason. It was just super slow. I don't know why mobile ordering isn't at that Starbucks yet, but I needed coffee. I had been in Orlando for a couple weeks, and I regret not going to just suck it up and drink Joffrey's, but I wanted
coffee.
I wanted
coffee.
They have a smoked. No, it's a baked sugar cookie latte right now.
Ooh!
It comes with you can get it in oat milk or you can get it with whatever you like, but it's fantastic. It's kind of one of their specialty drinks they're doing right now. But yeah, that took forever. Anyways, but we kind of went. It started to rain, so we did a couple of things, and then basically we went and we did a few things, but at kind of some point. We went and rode Peter Pan. We went and did It's a Small World, literally because it was raining. It was right across from
Peter Pan.
We could wait. I grabbed a DAS and literally just waited till it showed up, and then I walked across in the rain. And then we decided to not go back to the parks after we left. We went and had dinner at Toledo, however you say that restaurant at the top of Coronado Springs. Still the sleeper restaurant at Walt Disney World right now. I think it's the most underrated restaurant on property.
Oh yeah,
we got their tomahawk ribeye for $2, absolutely amazing. Their warm olives appetizer, which you don't like olives, so you're not gonna like, but absolutely amazing. We got the tomato bread that they have that was absolutely amazing. Glad we did. We went there, and then we went to come back, and it stopped raining. We sat outside. There's actually chairs that are permanently concreted to the ground. We sat there and watched Enchantment.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Which, if that were Happily Ever After, it would have been an amazing experience.
Right.
Because it's Enchantment. We basically talked to the people around us for the first 2/3 of the show, and then it's like, oh, okay, the Beauty and the Beast song is on. Now we start to care about this fireworks show.
Yeah. And I'll say this about Enchantment. My one thing I'll say I like about Enchantment is they focus on fireworks a little bit more than they did for Happily Ever After. So watching it from afar is a little bit easier for Enchantment than it was Happily Ever After.
Yeah, I hear that.
So
we had one more day. And we were kind of bummed to leave our Saratoga 1-bedroom that we loved. Absolutely, we really loved it. It was a great view. We were on the course, so we were on the first floor, could walk out, and
that's cool.
that balcony. It was great. I mean, even if you don't play golf, it was just a cool view. It was kind of away from everything. It was nice. We really liked it. Had a great trip, and then we went to Animal Kingdom for our last day. I think we got up that morning and dropped our stuff off at the storage unit, and then went to Animal Kingdom. Went and rode the safari, I think 3 times. Went and got coffee. Walked the ape exploration trail, which was great. Animals were super active, and we just kind of decided. We decided just to make the most out of the animal experience, just because I didn't feel like trips in across the park to ride Everest. And then I'm going to go back when I'm there and go see Kite Tales, just because I feel like I need to watch it at least once to feel like I've seen that.
Please go live.
Oh yeah, it's yeah.
Can't say anything good about that one. Yeah,
you really,
bless your heart.
You really can't. And then we ended at Tiffin's, which I think is a great way. I got the whole fish at Tiffin's, which if you've not had that, and right now they're whole fish right now when we went was a Chilean sea bass, which was amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Fish. Yeah, it was stunning. Great way to end the trip. And we enjoyed we went slow. We didn't do that many attractions. The weather was mostly great when we were down there. It rained the Saturday of the thing, and it rained that one day we were at the Magic Kingdom. And that was pretty much all. The weather was relatively cool. It was mostly, you kind of need a long sleeve shirt at night, cold, which was nice.
That is nice about Florida when it gets like that way.
Yeah, and like Florida cold it hits different.
It does. It does.
But what else hits different? And I was explaining this to a friend the other day that like it's 60 degrees is different when you're like walking to your car than if you're going to be outside, and then if you get on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the trip report. That's kind of the deal. We had a great trip, and it was so good to see people in the parks again. As much as I've enjoyed it when it was dead, there was part of me that sort of sadistically enjoyed the crowds, just because it meant it was back, man. It just very much.
Yeah.
There's still a few things that aren't back that should be back, and the boys better figure it out quick.
Give it time.
Well, no, we're out of time. They're out of time, or they need to tell travel agents to stop selling rooms. Because the tension, they're at the tension, and it'll be interesting to see where in the middle of Thanksgiving week. I mean, I think yesterday, if you were in the Magic Kingdom and bought Genie Plus, you were done at 2.
Wow.
Thanksgiving week on Monday of Thanksgiving week, if you bought Genie Plus, you paid the $15 at 2 p.m. You were done with Lightning Lane options.
Wow.
So, speaking of bless their hearts, how about those folks at Guest Services that had to deal with that?
Yeah.
Seriously,
bless their hearts.
Yeah, because I mean, you can hate on the old Fast Pass Plus options, but at least you knew you were going to get in your 3 attractions that you wanted to ride. Which for me on some days is enough.
Yeah.
But so yeah, man, that's kind of the end of it. We had a great trip, both the Vero and the Saratoga, and just the parts we were in Orlando at the Airbnb and the Hyatt Place there. But we had a good trip, and like I said, I'm going down for some business here in a week or so, right before it really gets crazy. So, but also, spoiler alert, I did see, speaking of Need to Breathe and Switchfoot, they're going to be doing a song on one of the Disney Christmas specials. I'm not sure which one.
Ooh.
But they were down there recording. I know Kristen Chenoweth's fiance, and she was down there recording for one of the Christmas specials that people have been in and out seeing all of that. So it's beginning to look a lot like Disney parades. It's good to see those back. We did not. Here's one of the things we did not do. We'll end with this. We chose to not do the after party with the Christmas. I did see if I met a family sitting there waiting for the projections to come up on Tower of Terror, and I was like, "Hey," I saw her band or whatever that she had been to the after party. I was like, "How was it?" She's like, "We're a family of 4. We spent just under $800."
Whoo!
We spent just under $800, and I was like, "Was it good?" She's like, "Nope." I was like, and here's my problem. I have no problem with the money spent. No problem. If Disney can charge me whatever they want to, as long as the experience lives up to the cost. And if you took your family to go, and it cost you $800 to bring your wife and your girls, it better be dang near perfect. It better not rain. They better not be out of anything. They better be handing you Mickey bars when you're walking down the street, and Peter Pan better make you fly himself. Because, don't hear me wrong when we talk about this stuff, that I get upset when Disney charges for things. I have no problem with Disney charging, but the experience better live up to the cost.
Yeah.
When I go to McDonald's, I have a McDonald's expectations, but when I go to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, I have a different level of expectation at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. And so, if you're going to charge Ruth's Chris prices, you better give me a Ruth's Chris experience. Don't give me a McDonald's experience at Ruth's Chris prices. And basically, that's what this really nice mom kind of experienced. And some of it is the things Disney controls, and some of it they don't. But I mean, for Leslie and I, it was going to be like, even with our discount, it was going to be like just a little under $400 to go for the night, and I just couldn't justify it for one night in a park that I already get access to.
Yeah, I agree.
And that bums me out, because The Christmas parade is literally one of my favorite things at Walt Disney World. That party and the stinking hot chocolate and the stale cookies that they serve at it. I love it.
Yeah, but the Halloween party is much better.
I disagree, but
Okay.
But this one's priced more than the Halloween party. At least at the Halloween party, you get to bring home some candy.
That is very true.
So, well, guys, this is going to do it for this trip report. We'll be back, I promise, with Dave, and I'll be kind of telling you some of the things I'll be doing down there. And then I'll be back with another trip report. Just you get a trip report, and you get a trip report. And Dave's going to tell us what his experience was not going on a Disney cruise.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Did he regret that or not? And you actually went on a brand new ship.
I did.
You went on almost. I knew a lot of people on that. I should have connected you to more people. It was pretty much an inaugural sailing, was it not, or close to it?
It was close to it. This was where they actually the godmother was announced, and they had the christening and all that stuff.
Okay.
Talking about the cruise, I do want to mention this. You know, we talked about you hanging out with Ryan Street on the last episode.
Let's do it. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, we're wrapping this up now. I met on that cruise the owners of DVC Resale Experts, Chris and Teresa. Forget their last name. Myers. Chris and Teresa Myers.
Yep.
They are possibly going to come on the show and talk to us about their resale market. And possibly going to help.
It sounds like they're about to sell you a contract. It's another contract is what it sounds like they're about to do.
Well, I'll tell you that we had an hour-long meeting with them on the ship talking about that, and they're looking.
Well, if you took an hour off of their vacation, you better be buying some points from them.
Well, they're just great people. We talked about Disney.
Awesome.
We talked about that. Teresa worked for DVC for 20 years. Chris for 15. So
awesome.
they know their stuff.
Fantastic.
But they're looking for me and Amanda a Copper Creek, I think, contract right now. So we're going from there. Just because we want with the most amount of years on near Magic Kingdom. That's just what we're thinking. I know. You've got your thoughts. We'll talk later. Or wait, is that a Terry was right thought? Bubble.
If you want, I'll leave it this hint. If you were doing it to stay at those cabins, yes. If your expectations is studios in any way, shape, or form at an 11-month use window, abso-freaking-lutely not.
Yeah,
and that'll do it for this episode. We will see you next time on Top of the World. I'm Terry Weaver.
I'm Dave Adams, learning every day.
And we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
All right, dude.